there's this, I guess, stereotype like that you live like a rock star sort of lifestyle, you're out drinking all the time and shit like that. When you're an apprentice, artists want to take advantage of you. So going through this whole weight loss journey, I've lost roughly like 80 pounds.
But your story is really important because I know where you started, and then seeing you now is like you literally blossom into like a beautiful flower.
Welcome back, guys, with another episode of Direct Discussions, a podcast where we deep dive directly with people just like you. I'm going to turn it over to my host, David.
How's it going, everybody? We have the pleasure of being with somebody I've known for a good amount of years, Monica Snyder. Little clap, 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 clap. So how are you?
I'm good.
Like, how good? Like, from 1 to 100, how good are you?
Today, I don't know, like 1 to 100, that's a very wide range.
Yeah, I think it's better. It's like saying like 9.7, so now you can be like 92 or whatever.
Like 75. That's mostly good.
Well, right? Hopefully we can go from a 75 to like a 90 by the end of this. Hopefully. That's the goal. All right, so what started first for you? And I want to know how long ago it was. What started first, your tattooing journey of apprenticeship and then going into like becoming your own tattoo artist, or your fitness journey?
So what started my tattoo journey then?
Well, which one came first, your fitness or your tattoo journey?
The tattoos.
The tattoos came first?
Yeah.
Okay, so then how long ago was that before, like when you started getting into tattooing? Because I always knew you were like real artistic and really good at drawing in high school. You were always in like doing art and everything like that. I think you took 3 years of art or something like that.
Yeah.
So, like how long? So I know you've always been doing it. So when did you say, hey, I'm going to start taking tattooing seriously?
So I was in college. I went to college and got a whole ass degree that I'll like never use.
What degree was that?
The degree is called Arts and Technology, but it's just like 3D animation. And I was never really any good at it. But during my last semester of college, I at the time was also working full time at a vape shop, and I met my old boss. And long story short, we just got to talking, and I decided to pursue an apprenticeship with him because he said he was looking for an apprentice, and figured that like I've got this whole degree. If it doesn't work out, I can just use my degree and go into that career. And it did work out. I went through the apprenticeship and became a tattooer. Yeah.
Okay, so how long did the apprentice? What year was it that you said, I'm gonna start?
It was 2017.
Oh, so you're what, 7 years in now?
Going on 7 years.
Okay, so then how long was the apprenticeship? Like how long was that period?
My apprenticeship was roughly a year and a half. Everyone is different with how long their apprenticeships are, but mine was about a year and a half.
So what would you say was the hardest part of your apprenticeship?
There are so many different things that are hard about being an apprentice.
Let's get into it. What are the different things?
So I think because I started a street shop in Dallas, and it wasn't like the best environment. It could be very toxic with some of the people who worked there. And so trying to weave in and out of people's, can I?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Trying to weave in and out of people's bullshit. That was really difficult because when you're an apprentice, artists want to take advantage of you. Mm-hmm. And like, that's not to say like that you shouldn't work hard. Like you're definitely going to work hard and you're going to do grunt work like cleaning and shit like that. But people will try to take advantage of you, and haze you and shit like that, which hazing was never much of an issue with me. People would try to make me do shit that was not in my job description whatsoever. And So that was kind of difficult. And then also too, like with the tattoo industry, there's this, I guess, stereotype like that you live like a rock star sort of lifestyle, you're out drinking all the time and shit like that. And I started to fall into that too. That was more so after my apprenticeship, but I did start to fall into like drinking a lot more heavily. So that was difficult. I mean, not when I was drinking, that was fun, but yeah, that was difficult to deal with. And then also too, like my mentor, he's a great mentor. Like he genuinely cared about my education and never hazed me and always stood up for me. So I got really lucky in that sense. But also too, like I'm a realism artist. My style is like trying to make stuff look real. And he is not. And so when I was learning as an apprentice, he taught me what he knew. And so I didn't get that education on realism and how to tattoo it. And so I had to teach that myself. And so that was well after my apprenticeship. I didn't try any realism stuff until after I was a tattooer. But yeah, those are some of the main things that were difficult going through the apprenticeship.
So, quick question. Whenever you were mentioning the hazing and all that it comes with being an apprentice, did the shop typically play it off as oh, no, you're just paying your dues kind of deal and just brush it over like it meant nothing to you?
Yeah. A lot of people will use those exact words, like you got to pay your dues, which I can understand that to a certain extent in that, like, not with hazing, like with cleaning. Like you got to clean a bunch of shit. You're going to draw your fucking ass off like all the fucking time. So you work really hard and you work for free. You're not making any fucking money. And so, yeah, is that?
Yeah. So as far as hazing goes, is it kind of like how they talk about, when you get hazed at in a fraternity when you're trying to join in?
Yeah, they try to make you do stupid shit. My mentor never hazed me. He got hazed in his apprenticeship and didn't want to carry that over. So I was super grateful for that. I think the worst thing that he ever made me do was he had a room at the shop that he would tattoo in and he wanted to paint it. So he made me paint it, which is like, whatever. It's a small room. But instead of using a roller to make it go faster, I could only use a brush that was like, it was still a big size brush. So I was lucky that I got a big size brush, but I could only use a brush and I had to finish it that night. And I did finish it. But my shoulder hurt so fucking bad. Like I woke up crying. But other than that, no, like he actually like cared about, my education and stuff.
One more question about that. Is that hazing, is that just part of the tattooing culture or was that just shop specific?
No, that's definitely part of like tattoo culture. I feel like today, like it's starting to become less and less for sure, but it still happens. And so I don't know. People shouldn't do that anymore.
So you're saying like if you were to be a tattoo artist, you would have to have thick skin? No pun intended.
Yeah, I mean, I think so. I mean, you definitely shouldn't, like, if you're a person who's seeking out an apprenticeship, you definitely shouldn't let people take advantage of you or haze you in any sort of way. But I forgot where I was going with that.
It's okay, I got you. So in that year and a half that you were, doing your apprenticeship, you're saying that whole time you weren't getting paid at all. It was just practice.
Yeah.
And then so you had to get so dialed in on everything it took to get there that you knew that everything after that was just going to come. The results were going to come once you finished.
Yes and no. I mean, I had like odd jobs throughout my apprenticeship that were completely separate from tattooing just so I would have some money. But yeah, no, you don't make any money until you start tattooing. And even then, like when you first start tattooing, most of the time you don't charge for those. And then once you do start tattooing, the hard part then is building up that clientele. Because if you don't have the clientele, then you're not going to make any money. You can like make, your art that you're like drawing or painting and make prints and sell stickers and shit like that. I was a lazy piece of shit and never did any of that. But yeah, does that?
Yeah, no, you did answer that real quick. So, what color was that room that you painted?
It was
like, what color did you have to paint it?
It was originally like a disgusting, like green, nasty color. I think like greenish yellow, and I had to paint it like almost the color of your shirt, but a little more maroon, not as purple. I guess it was really dark.
That's a good color.
Yeah. PTSD.
So if you can remember I know this is probably for a long time ago, how much did you charge for your first ever tattoo? Like you said, the smaller ones, once you finish apprenticeship, you were kind of like, oh, I don't want to charge for these. If you can remember, how much was the first one you tattooed and what was it? How big was it? Was it a guy or girl that came as your first client?
So I remember like when I started taking more clients, I would charge like $30. Yeah. But I mean, they were little tattoos. They weren't, anything crazy. Yeah, $30. I remember that. Like I could, like they told me to like do like 5 tattoos that were like $30 or I don't know, something like, maybe I'm making it up, but $30, I distinctly remember that price.
Okay. So whenever you were going from the small ones to the big ones, what was that big first tattoo where you're like, all right, cool, I'm gonna have to charge a good amount of money and I really gotta like lock in on this one?
I don't remember. I don't know. Probably the first big tattoo I ever did was probably on my best friend Jade. So I didn't charge for that because she was also apprenticing at the time. But she was apprenticing to be a piercer. So we were each other's pin cushions, basically.
That's funny.
But yeah, that was the first like big tattoo I ever did was on her. But after that, like, I don't remember like specifically which tattoo was my first like big one. And if I remember correctly, it still wasn't like anything crazy, like maybe $250 for this like big ass tattoo. Like it wasn't anything like what I do now. And like for a long time before I even worked at the shop that I work at now, like it was really hard for me to like be stern with people, like for how much I'm going to charge. Like, no, like we agreed on this, we're going to do it. Like it was very hard for me to do that. But now that I'm at Eden, I don't really have to worry about that because they actually take care of all the booking for us. So, when it comes to the end of the day and the client goes to pay, like, they don't even pay me. They pay them. I don't have to worry about it. So that's really nice. Yeah.
So they take all. So you're working for them. So are you like under an LLC? Do you have your own LLC or like are you self-employed? So you just work underneath them?
So typically in the tattoo industry, it's mostly like you label yourself as self-employed or what do you call it, like a contractor or whatever. But at Eden, what's really nice is we're actually employees. So like instead of having to pay taxes each year, we actually get money back because we pay taxes throughout the year and stuff like that. So that's really nice. I do not miss having to deal with being self-employed contractors. It's a lot to deal with.
So basically they just do they just do the hard part for you.
Yes.
Basically, you just collect a check, and now you just got to show up, do your tattoos, and everything else.
Yeah, and that's a big thing for them is they want to make their artists as comfortable as possible so that we can focus solely on our art and like promoting ourselves on like social media. So it's really nice to not have to deal with like the booking side of it and the money side of it. Because that in itself is a whole job.
Yeah, I could see.
So in their mind, they're like, okay, you guys will take care of this on this end, but it's y'all guys' job to bring people into the store to get tattoos, and then they'll go tell people, okay, look, I went to this place to get my tattoo. All right, then references start coming in. And I guess as, because you're describing it as, yes, they're hiring you as employees, so you're getting a W-2 at the end of the year. So at the end of it, I think it's like, okay, we're gonna do the best we can, so you guys can protect our image. Can you relate? Can you relate to that?
So what do you mean? Like
they take care of y'all because y'all guys are the face of the company, essentially.
Yeah, I mean, they want us to be comfortable and do the best tattoos that we can possibly do, which is really nice. Most tattoo shops don't necessarily make that a priority, per se.
So most tattoo shops, they're kind of like a barber shop, per se, where it's like you have the owner, they pay their booth fees, and then, you don't come in tattoo, you still got to pay your fee. And it's like, oh, man, we don't really like what you're doing. We're going to get you out of here.
I guess in a sense, it's very different. It depends on the shop. But at like a street shop sort of, like in that sort of vibe, like it's either booth rent, like what you were saying, or the shop takes a certain percentage of whatever you charge for your tattoo. So like basically a lot of shops can mostly just care about like the money that you bring in and not necessarily the tattoos and the quality of work that you're doing. That's what's really nice about Eden is like the quality of work that we do is it's very important. Yeah. And also like just making sure that clients are comfortable and shit like that.
So now this actually makes sense because Roger, so me and her were talking off before we got on, and she was explaining to me, I'll let her tell you, but it actually makes sense now how everything goes, because she was saying that what'd you say, your boss? I'll let you tell you. Her boss.
My boss, Deanna, she was on Ink Master a couple of times. And so she has a lot of connections with other artists and stuff. And so like at the shop, we'll have different seminars with different tattooers. Their podcast that they do, they have all different kinds of amazing guests on there. So it's really cool because they help us with networking. So we do get to get introduced to all these amazing artists and learn shit all the time.
Well, I say that I wanted her to tell you that because now that makes sense as to why you're having a tattoo artist run the company. So now, like she said, they want the tattoo artist to be so comfortable so she knows what it's like to be in your position to say, hey, I want to be comfortable. I wish I didn't have to worry about booking and doing all this stuff. She's like, let me try to help my artist out and set this all up for them. So now they have this structure to where they can come in and just solely work on their craft. Now it all like actually makes sense, because I was about to ask, who is the owner? How does that work? Are they just there for the money, or are they a current tattoo artist? But now that all ties back and it actually makes sense.
So Deanna and her husband Colton both own the shop. And so Deanna takes care of the art tattoo side of it, and Colton takes care of the business side of it. And that can be, what we were talking about earlier as far as like money stuff, booking stuff, anything related to the actual like business side of it.
HR, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
One thing I can appreciate about their business model and the fact that they actually bring on people to show you more stuff is that they're continuing to grow your guys' education as you guys are, as experienced as you are at the shop. That's one thing I can appreciate, because not a lot of people do that. They're like, okay, you're here. This is what you can do. You figure the rest out on your own.
Right. Yeah. They definitely offer a lot of opportunities for us as far as like, what do you call them? Seminars. Like just bringing in different artists, and it's really cool the way they do it. A lot of the times it's like a 2-day seminar, and so like the first day you watch this person tattoo, and the second day you get fake skin and you do that same tattoo that they just did, and that artist will walk around and be like, no, do it this way, and it's really hands-on.
Yo,
really
honestly,
cool.
That's so cool, because when you say it like that, it's like literally taking Ink Master but making it the apprenticeship version of it, if you think about it in that aspect. Because like you said, watching the show, they would bring on all these really good artists, and I'm looking at their art, I'm like, yo, this is crazy. So now when you're telling younger ones or not as experienced artists, hey, do the exact same tattoo he did, and then compare them and then see where you can get better. It's like, that's like the perfect, you're learning from the best. You're literally learning from the best and practicing. And like you said, the appreciation that they actually have for y'all to want to care about y'all's art and what y'all are putting on people's bodies is insane. Because there's a lot of people, I know you see it, a lot of people like in high school that where their tattoos are just like, why'd you even get that?
Yeah.
Why did you let this guy tattoo? But
Yeah.
I get it though, because everybody has to learn some way, somehow. Even just doing the small ones for free, you got to learn some way.
Right.
And hopefully you're doing those good. Not saying you, but I'm saying in general, hopefully people are doing those smaller tattoos. So I wanted to ask you, what has been your biggest influence, or what influenced you to like in your tattoo style? Because I know your style is like a lot different than the other people that I've seen.
Yeah, so my boss is definitely a huge inspiration for my style of work. I don't know, it's slowly evolved over the years. Like the tattoos that I'm doing now look nothing like the tattoos that I was doing 3 years ago when I first started at Eden. But I was originally doing mostly just black and gray, and then decided to change it up and do some color too. And so in the industry, like a lot of different styles, like you see stuff that's done and it's like been done before. And so I feel like the challenge nowadays is trying to do something that's different that not another artist has done.
That's so hard.
It's very hard. Yeah. And so that's why my style is so different and abstract. Like I'm just trying to do something different. While also trying to stay true to what I do.
That far left one, I like that one. Well, yeah, that one. That one's fire with the skeleton and everything, the heart. Yeah,
Thank you.
I like how you're going from the black and white and then into color too, and then using the lines of symmetry to separate everything. Man, you're taking me back to like art back in when we were in school. That's funny.
Thank you. Yeah, but yeah, it's slowly evolved over time, and like even this style of right here, like with the slashes, where there's the separation of the color and the black and gray. Like I've even evolved from that and am doing something a little different now, where I'm like incorporating actual like sketches, I guess you could say, like mixing a sketchy painterly sort of vibe into it. Like that rose is a good example where it goes from like sketchy rose into like a full like fully colored, fully rendered.
Or even that one, yeah. That's dope. I like the one in the middle right there. Go down to the left. Yeah, in the middle. Yeah, that one.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, that one with the body and stuff. That's fire. Honestly, all of it's fire, and that face it's really good because you could tell like that's a girl. That's the Statue of David. Like you can see that's the Joker. That's the other villain from the other movie. That one's actually really good. I didn't see that one. That one right there with the skull and everything. That's fire. Yeah, that one. Now let's go to go back down. Go to that one right there. The picture of her. Yeah, that one. Now click on it. Yeah, click on that. And then, isn't there more pictures?
Yeah, it's like a transformation.
Yeah, now let's get into your fitness journey and how all this started.
Okay.
So what was your day or your thing that got you were like, yo, I'm not drinking anymore. I gotta change everything.
So I was drinking very heavily for a very long time, and I was like basically a functioning alcoholic. I would get up, go to work, go home, get shit-faced, wake up, and do it all again. And so it was every day for like literally years. And something, I don't know, something happened one day, and I had at this point already been at Eden for about like 6 months. And I was like, okay, well, what's your excuse now, bitch? Like you moved out, like you're financially stable on your own. Your career's doing really well. What the fuck? Get your shit together. And so I decided to stop drinking, and that's what started the whole thing. Was that like I didn't want to just go home and sit and think about drinking. You know what I mean? So I would go to the gym and run for like 30 minutes on the treadmill. That started out small like that. And then eventually turned into now, like I ran 10 miles this morning. Like
that's a lot.
So what got you into drinking though? Did you start when you were younger? Did you start?
No, I guess in my early 20s is when I started drinking more heavily. And it was during like, I guess towards the end of my apprenticeship. That I started like going out and partying and like just, doing stupid shit. And then it got to a point like years later where I wasn't even going out and partying. I was just going home and drinking by myself. Like, it was just not healthy. It was really, really bad. And so, yeah.
So do you think part of the reason too was also because of the apprenticeship? Because touching back on how you mentioned, yeah, we, there's this, image of us, living this rockstar lifestyle where we're drinking all the time. Do you think because you fell into that is what got you to the point where you were at before you started your apprenticeship, to the point where you were like, man, I'm a functioning alcoholic. And then you're like, well, now I got to change.
I don't think it was solely because of that, like, stereotype. I think that I was a very reserved person growing up. Like, I don't know if you remember in high school, like I wasn't like super outgoing, and I'm still not super outgoing. Like, I'm a very introverted person. But I kind of saw that time where I was partying in my apprenticeship as kind of like making up for in the past, where like I was just kind of boring, in high school. And I thought that like, oh, this is like, let's go out and have fun. And I did have fun. Like, I did have that time. I did have that fun, but that part of my life is over now. Like, I'm never going to drink again. Like, cause I already know that it's a slippery slope. And it also is something that runs in my family too.
Oh, alcoholism?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so growing up, seeing that with like my mom and stuff, like, you start to become who you don't want to be, like the person that you don't want to be, like, you start becoming that person. And I was just like, no, like.
It's funny that you mentioned that, because me and my sister talk about this all the time, where she's like, I do not want to be like mom. I do not want to be like mom. And I'm like, bro, you're exactly like mom. She's like, I know, I hate it. It's funny because, like, growing up, my mom would just yell at us all the time, and now she yells at her kids all the time. But I don't yell at my daughter at all. Like, maybe I'll yell at her once or twice in a blue moon. But it's like, she's like, man, I don't know. I can't do anything about it. I'm just like her. And I'm like, well, I don't know. Maybe you just need to sit down with yourself and think to yourself, man, I really don't want to be like this person. So let me not be like this person, instead of just saying it. Mm-hmm. And then just catching yourself into that trap, following your mother's footsteps and acting just like her. And then also too, it's funny because everyone's like, oh, you like, I don't know. I'm sure you've seen memes where they're just like, oh, the person that peaked early in high school and whatnot, and now you're seeing them after high school, and now they're just like, yeah, I'm sure you've seen those memes, which is funny because, like, I feel like it's not necessarily bad, because you said you were kind of reserved in high school, and I was too, to an extent, but then I also had my group of friends where we, get out and, partake in debauchery after school, and after that, I'm just like, after high school, I became boring. So I feel like that was really good to go through, go get it out as early as you can. So when you're in your 20s, when everything really matters, it's like, now I don't got to worry about this anymore. Mm-hmm. I'm like 28. Am I 28? No, I'm 27. I'll be 28 this year. I don't know. It just blends after 25.
Yeah.
But, it does. Yeah. But I mean, I find myself where I'm just like, all right, work, come home, feed the dogs, care of my daughter, work, come home, take care. And I'm okay with that because, like I said, like, I felt like I was able to get all that out early. And I feel like that's very important for people to do, despite it being frowned upon.
Yeah. Yeah, I completely agree. Yeah, because, I mean, it was still relatively early for me, too, when I was going through that. And so now I am at a point in my life where I am so fucking boring. Like, I get up, I run, I go to work, I go to the gym, I go home, and I repeat that like every single day. And I'm fine with that too. Like I like that. I like the routine. I like having that stability. Yeah, I don't mind being boring and old.
I don't think you're boring and old. I think that's just like part of growing up, to be honest. You just realize all the stuff we were doing younger was like pointless if you think about it, because anything we were doing wasn't really benefiting our future. Mm-hmm. Anything like that. So you're completely sober. So you like, when you stopped, did you like stop cold turkey, or you just like slowly moderations and like stop?
No, I just quit drinking.
Oh, so that's really hard. So I know, but did you find another vice to go to to substitute that habit you had? No,
I don't know. For me, drinking has been like, that was like the main problem for me. Like, I like smoke, or whatever. But that's never been an issue for me. It was always just drinking. I would just do stupid shit and overdo it, basically. And I don't have that problem with anything else, I guess. Not that I'm out here like snorting coke or shit or anything like that.
That would be extreme. I mean, honestly, it's funny we even say that because it's funny you said that from the beginning, because I even told him, I was like, she always came off to me as like this rock star type of girl. And that's just, I think that's just maybe because of the conversations we had before, but like, that's just what I remember seeing from like high school. Yeah, you were more reserved, but you did come off more of this like edgy person. And that kind of, and you just blossomed more into an edgy person. You are like, you got the piercings and everything, but that's your style. That's like who you are. So it was never like, that's like the rock star idea, but that's kind of like a little bit of what you are. You're like edgy, yes. not rock star, edgy. That's the
edgy, but edgy. In bed by 9. Yeah.
Boring edgy.
Yeah.
Boring edgy. So what was your choice of your drink of choice?
Vodka.
Anything clear.
But anything clear. But anything I could get my hands on, really. Honestly, I was broke at the time, so you know.
Yeah, so you were going hard on those Four Locos back then when they had caffeine in them, or
actually,
what?
No, I never fucked with those. I was like, no, I'm not going that low.
Four Locos.
But like, I would also pound fucking Bud Light seltzers, like their version of White Claws.
Yeah.
Those like, I shit you not, I could. A whole 12-pack of those, I could drink one of those in like a night.
And you're peeing every like 20 seconds.
Yeah, every 20. I'm getting.
You're like, but I'm okay though. Yeah. It's a seltzer. It's healthy for you.
Like it's clear. It's fine.
It's got 1 gram of protein.
Yeah.
Oh, that's too funny. So, what do you think that you? I know you grew up seeing your mom be an alcoholic. Was your dad also involved with that, or was he just kind of like the one telling your mom, "Hey, maybe you shouldn't be drinking"?
Yeah. No, that was never really a thing for my dad. It was mostly just my mom. Now, at this point in her life, she's getting older and she's got like health problems and stuff. So I don't think she's drinking anymore. I recently actually just got back into contact with her after contact for like a couple years or a year or two. I don't know. It doesn't matter. But yeah, I don't think she's drinking anymore. But yeah, growing up, it was mostly from her, seeing all of that.
So when you were drinking, did you still have that connection with your mom at the time? Or do you think that
it was in and out?
That so you think once you went sober, that's when the connection kind of like broke up because she's like alcohol, and you're just like, no, this is really bad.
Yeah, at the time she was still on her bullshit, and I was like, I don't have to deal with this, and so I just cut her off, and didn't talk to her for like 2 years, I think, and then we recently got back into contact, and she seems to be doing better and not drinking anymore, so that's positive, and I'm happy for her, and I hope she continues to do that.
So how would you say the relationship with your mom is different from the whole stereotype of the drunk dad? And if you need an image, I can paint you one. You know, having to go fetch him from where he's working at because he's too drunk to drive his truck home, getting home, throwing up on the way home. You know, there's probably an abusive dad out there who gets angry when he's drunk and beats his kids. Was it kind of the same for you growing up with an alcoholic in your household?
As far as like traumatic shit happening? Yeah. For sure. Yeah. Like I won't go into detail about anything, but yeah, definitely like dumbass shit that has to deal with her drinking and driving. And then, shit at home too, that would involve everyone. And some really awful shit happened growing up. But I mean, it is what it is, and it made me the person I am today. So I don't.
It's funny that you say that last part because I definitely can relate with that. For example, I talk to my dad all the time and he's like, I wish I was there for you, this and that. But looking back at it, and I don't know if he looks at himself at how he was back then when we were kids and, we were separated, but like, dude, you were not in the right place to raise me. Mm-hmm. I'm like, maybe later when I was older, but as a kid, I mean, dude, we were fetching you from apartments while you were drunk, throwing up, arguing all the time with my stepmom, and it was just crazy. And he's gonna catch a lot of I'm gonna get a lot of slack from him because he follows me on TikTok. But he's always like, "Oh, ask Roger about his dad." I'm like, I don't want to talk about you, but it's just but no. Oh man, I lost my train of thought, but I think it was just, it's just crazy to look at because I'm just like, man, I can definitely relate. Even though my dad wasn't in the same household, seeing that parental figure just drunk all the time, never home, and I'm not sure what kind of stuff you went through with your mom, but I feel like that was also a motivating factor for me to be like, it is what it is. And then I look at it in hindsight, I'm like, man, I'm glad we kind of went through this kind of stuff because it made me who I am. Mm-hmm. It turned me away from drinking all the time. I mean, don't get me wrong. I enjoy a drink with dinner and, having a couple friends over, but I don't like getting drunk. I don't know what it is, but I don't like losing control when I'm drinking, And it's refreshing when you can be with somebody and you can trust somebody enough in that environment. But most of the time it's like, I don't want to be drinking too much where it's around you. I've always played that role when it comes to, having friends over and drinking. I was always the host. All right, guys, y'all guys can get as drunk as you want. Y'all guys are fine. Toilets over there, this and that. No, I think you're done. So it's weird because seeing my dad grow up drinking put me in a position where when I'm around with other people, it makes me like, you know what? Talking about this actually makes me feel like us having to take care of my dad is starting to come out whenever I have people over drinking.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah, no, I feel that because like they were supposed to be the parent and they weren't, right? So I had to be the parent and I had to take care of not just myself, but I have a little brother. I have a brother that's like 9 years younger than me. And so I took care of him so much growing up. And I don't regret it or anything like that. Like I love my little brother. Like he lives in my house now with me. And I like financially support him because he's 18. Like he just this is his first year like outside of high school, so he's just trying to get his life together. So I'm like financially supporting him and trying to get him through whatever he wants to do. He does. He's one of those people who he's not sure what he wants to do, so he's just kind of living life right now. But yeah, like because of that, how it was growing up with them not being the parent now. As like we're adults, like we have that like parental sort of thing where we want to take care of people, I guess, if that makes sense.
No, that does make sense. Definitely. I feel like that makes me a better parent than my parents actually, because yes, my mom did what she had to do to, keep a roof over our heads and over that. And, on my dad's end, he's more of a, I'm sorry I wasn't there, blah, blah, blah. But I would go over there every weekend, so it wasn't that big of a deal. It's not like he walked out for a glass of milk and never came back,
That's funny.
But, it's funny because I have this talk with my dad all the time where he's so apologetic about not being there enough and not being good enough back then. But I'm like, it's okay.
Yeah.
Because if you hadn't have been that, I mean, who knows where I would have ended up. I mean, look at me now. Look at yourself now. And I don't know if your parents, nowadays they have that sort of regret of how they were back then towards you. And I'm not sure how do you feel about that with them? But at the end of the day, I mean, you came out fine. I came out fine. What's there to be sorry about?
Exactly. That's how I feel.
See, I was going to ask you, how many friends did you lose whenever you said, I'm going to stop drinking? Friends, quote unquote.
Friends, acquaintances. I mean, because, everybody has a real good definition about what a friend is. I mean, or what an acquaintance is, or,
When I quit drinking, that was the question?
Well, yeah, when you wanted to say, hey, I'm not going to go out and drink with you guys after we get done tattooing, or I'm not going to go out with you guys tonight. I'm just not doing that anymore.
I don't think I lost any from when I decided to stop drinking because like I said, by like the time that I did decide to quit drinking, I wasn't even going out and partying anymore. I was just like doing it myself. I was destroying myself. No one else was helping me do it. So I didn't really lose friends. I feel like my best friend, Jade, she is the one that I would drink the most with, but I was the one feeding us shots, not her. She didn't want to drink.
Yeah.
So Yeah, I don't think I lost any friends. If anything, it made my best friend happy that I stopped drinking. Yeah.
Do you think the way you grew up and like you having to take care of your mom and like I'm not gonna say babysit, but like assist her a lot of the time, does that scare you from having a potential family of your own, or you're just like against kids completely, just in general?
Having kids has never been a thing that I personally wanted, but I think that because of that experience with my mom and because of the experience with my little brother and my mom, she has 3 sisters and each of them there's like a million kids. And so I would babysit and they would go out. Right. And so like, I know how to take care of a kid. I know how to change a diaper and shit like that. So if it were to happen to me, I know I would be fine and that I would love that child and whatever, all that sappy shit. But it's not something I'm seeking out though, because like I said, like at this time in my life, like I'm taking care of my brother too, and even though he's my brother, it's kind of like having a kid, I guess, in a sense. So yeah, I don't know if that answers your question or not.
I mean, it does that you kind of want a family, but you kind of don't.
Yeah.
So if it happens, then you're okay with it. But if it doesn't, oh well.
Right.
Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha.
And part of this whole journey that I've gone on is like figuring out like that I am okay with being alone. And I feel like that is a big for like why people drink or why people do drugs. And like they need this thing to make them not feel empty. And it's because like they're not content with themselves and they don't love themselves. And like I have been trying to cultivate that side of myself, and I'm still working on it. It is not like fixed or anything. But yeah, I feel like I'm content with being alone. So if it never did happen where I had like a family or anything, that's fine. I like spending time with myself. I like my cats,
You have cats?
I have 2 cats. Yeah.
So you're like the lady with the cat?
I am definitely a cat lady. Yeah.
How many cats do you have? 3?
2.
Ooh, okay. What color are they?
One of them is a solid black little demon. His name is Pepper, and he's a shithead. And then I also have one of those, those Russian blue cats. They're like solid gray.
Yeah.
I have one of those. Her name's Sadie. She's super sweet and like the complete opposite of Pepper.
So yin and yang is what you got. That's funny. Did you get them together or like they were like different times?
No, I got them together. They were actually my mom's cats. And so I just took them from her.
Took them. So have you always been like an animal person?
Yeah.
Oh, always? So when's the last time you went to the zoo? You probably never. Oh, wow. I did.
Yeah, no, I don't know.
So I wanted to ask you, what influenced you to get any of these tattoos? Like your head tattoos, what influenced that?
Well, so this is like Deanna's style, like her painterly style, and I really wanted that somewhere on my body. But so like I have made a lot of like poor decisions. Like I have a whole arm that's like a cover up, and like I'm getting laser removal done on this arm.
Wow.
And yeah, I'm gonna probably do some laser on my legs too.
Really? So you want to remove those?
Not all of them, but some of them I do. And also going through this whole weight loss journey, I've lost roughly like 80 pounds. And so I have a lot of like excess skin and stuff like that I eventually want to have like plastic surgery for. So getting it anywhere else, getting her work anywhere else on my body, I wasn't sure what my plans are for the future in terms of that. But I mean, I'm not going to get plastic surgery on my fucking head. And so I was like, all right, well, let's do it. Fuck it. Let's just shave our head and do it. Balls out.
Oh, so have you looked into how much all this costs? Like, well, doing the removal of the tattoos, and then how much it would cost if you were gonna like do the surgery of the like removing the skin or whatever. Or how
no, I haven't looked into the cost of the like skin removal or the surgery or anything like that. The shop that I work at offers laser removal, and since I work there, I just get it for free.
You just get it.
So I don't have to pay for that, which is really nice.
You're gonna save some money there.
Yeah.
So I know you talked about, your primary focus in tattooing is realism. So what influenced you into realism? Was there a specific tattoo artist that you've seen, or just the idea of saying, hey, I want to see if I can recreate this on a different medium?
As an artist, before becoming a tattoo artist was even an idea in my head, I was a portrait artist and loved just drawing people, and making it look real. So that's why I got into the realism side of tattooing, was because that's what I did as just an artist on paper.
I think for me, I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. I was really big into art in high school. But then, growing up, life happens. And then you just, all of your sketchbooks gets thrown in the closet. And then you're just like, well, I'm never going to throw these out. I like looking at them. But for me, I was really big into landscape.
Oh, yeah.
That's I really like, sitting out somewhere and just recreating whatever I saw, for example. I remember I would live in these apartments where there was a house right in front of us. And I would sit there for about a couple hours a day and then just draw the whole house. Trash cans, little bushes, the little can on the thing. I'm just like, look at it. It looks just like it, doesn't it? And it's crazy because don't get me wrong. I tried portraits. I'm not really good. I don't really like drawing people's faces. Because then it's always like, oh, this doesn't look like me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, obviously, I'm just starting out on drawing people's faces, but I never turned into, portraits. I was just like, doing some sort of surrealism and then, landscaping. I felt like that was where I was more comfortable with. And that brings me back to another topic. So my favorite, I think the thing that got me into wanting to get tattoos, and I don't have many because, for me, it's like, okay, back then when I was a kid, I'm going to get XYZ. And then it's like, I'm older. I don't want that anymore.
Yeah.
So it's really hard for me to say, okay, this is what I want to stick with, or this is what I want. But personally speaking, I'm not sure if you heard of Circus Survive. If not, one of their vinyls are up there. But the artist that does their stuff, his name's Asile Andrews, and I wanted to bring him into it because he does a lot of surrealism. And it's just crazy to think like, this is kind of what I wanted to do and what I feel like I want. And it's corny, I know. You're probably like, oh, hot air balloon. Everybody gets that. Which brings me on to my next topic. What kind of tattoos you don't like doing? When people come into the shop and they're like, oh, give me this or give me that.
So I do have tattoos that I'm like, not doing that. Not do tribal.
All line work and stuff. So you're just not that great with lines or what?
No, like I'll do stuff like the sketchy stuff that I do, that has a shit ton of lines in it. Like lines don't scare me. But tribal itself, like just feeling of solid color, it's just so mindless, and I'm just like, it's not my thing. And then I won't do anything that's related to a clock or a compass, because I did a shit ton of those in my apprenticeship, and I was like, we're done. I'm sold out of those.
A bunch of circles and ovals. And just a repeat of a bunch of that.
Yeah.
I'll get you on that.
And there's there's various other things I won't do. But as far as like, as long as it's in my style, I'm much more open to subject matter. But I am grateful that I'm at a point in my career where I can be a little more picky and choosy with the subject matter. Not like anything crazy. Like I'm not just like out here denying everyone. But if it's something I'm unsure about, or I feel like I wouldn't be able to pull that off, then I will say no. And I feel like that's important as an artist, like knowing your limits and stuff. But yeah, that's a couple of the things.
So let's say somebody wants to say, oh, I need to get a forest over here. How do you feel about that?
I love doing landscapes. Yeah. I've done a bunch of landscapes. I love doing them.
Oh, that's interesting.
That is interesting because I would have just never thought you would have done that. Like, because all your stuff is like not what you just said that you like doing. So I would think that you wouldn't even do that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I don't know if there might be a couple of landscapes I've done that are like way low on my profile, but yeah, I've done quite a few landscapes actually. It's not something I do as often anymore, but yeah. I fucks with the landscapes.
Yeah,
I like the Bob Ross shit.
Yeah.
I'm actually happy that you do portraits. So you're good at doing people's faces, because that's what I was wanting to get was it sounds funny, but
a picture of his son.
Yeah, I wanted to get a picture of him, well, his face, and then he was gonna be wearing the bottom would be like, I guess from the torso to the neck it'd be like him wearing the Spider-Man outfit, because he really likes Spider-Man. So just be like the little hat. I guess you would do it in an oval thing, and then you just put the head and then the Spider-Man little thing at the bottom, just so it looks like he's wearing the Spider-Man outfit. That's what I want to do, something like that. So now that we bring this up, because I was telling him, I told you, I don't know how long ago it was. I know it was last year, but I was like, whenever I figure out what I want to get, I'm gonna get a tattoo by you, because you're obviously your friend, so I gotta support you. So I was like, I'm gonna get something, but when I figure it out, now that I know you're actually, you're good at doing portraits, that's what I want to get. That's what because I wanted to get it on this leg, but I was just like, I don't know anybody that does really good portraits. Now that I know you do good portraits, I'm like, okay, that's what I would want to get. So now that's what I'm gonna get. I'm gonna switch it up and make some. I know this is crazy too, but he was really into like Halloween and stuff. He likes Freddy Krueger, so I was gonna like put his face with the Spider-Man and have him have a Freddy Krueger hand. I know it's some extra stuff, but it's just like, it reminds me of everything he is right now and everything he's into. So I'm just like, that's a really good idea to do, just to like a tribute to him, basically. But I wanted to ask you, what is like your main thing or main motivation that keeps you growing, like in art and in life?
I don't know. I feel like just the people that I work for in general are very motivational. And so like there's very rarely a time that they're not doing something that doesn't motivate me to be better and do better. And like with this whole like style change that I'm having, like with the sketchy stuff, my boss has made me, not made me, it's more of like a journey sort of thing, but like I am really getting back into my art, like on paper and stuff, because like it's different with the iPad and designing for tattoos, like just like doing art for me. And so I've been doing a lot of sketching and stuff, and my boss, she really pushes me and critiques me on my art and stuff. So that keeps me motivated art wise. And then just finding a way to take what I have done physically on paper and putting that into tattoos. That's my main thing right now. So it's very motivational to try to like move towards that. And then just like life in general, I don't know. It's funny you asked that, because I just read, do you guys know who David Goggins is?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I just read his book or listened to it on audiobook while I was tattooing. And part of his whole thing is like, motivation is bullshit, because like you get this one spark that lasts for such a short time, and then what do you do the rest of that time? What do you do when there isn't motivation? And I think that's part of the whole thing, is like just like me continuing to do the fitness, the life stuff, the art stuff, even though I might not have the motivation at the time. Continuing to do it says a lot. If that makes sense.
No, it doesn't make sense, because I wanted to refer to, you had posted on your story yesterday, you said like, I'm gonna run 10 miles or 12 miles, and you're like, I don't even want to do this. And that's why but you still go out and do it. Mm-hmm. And I know there's a lot of days where I'm like, I don't want to go to the gym, and today's the best day to go to the gym, as in like what I'm working out, and I'm just like, I don't want to go. And then as soon as I start doing like one set, or I'm warming up, and I'm just like, I'm locked in, I'm ready to go, I'm already dialed in. So is that the same thing for you, as in you're just like, I don't want to do this, but as soon as you're like in the car going, you're like, I'm doing it, I have to do it?
Yeah, like I try not to even like think about it anymore. Like the only time that I miss a workout or a run is if I am dying. Like I have to like be dying in order to miss a workout. And so like missing a lift, that's not that hard for me. Like I can get through lifts an hour and a half, whatever. But getting through the runs, that's a little bit more difficult. Mm-hmm. But I've never done a lift or a run, like started one and regretted it. And that's what I keep telling myself. Like if I have those days where I'm like, I don't want to fucking do this shit, I just like keep thinking that in the back of my head. Like I've never started a run and been upset about it. Like,
I like that. That's such a good way
even
to
like,
see it.
even with like, you can see like this gnarly fucking scab that I have on my knee here. Like, I ate shit last week and fell so hard on one of my runs. I fell so fucking hard. And like, I scraped up my palm. I rocked my shit. And that was like 2 miles into what was supposed to be a 12-mile run. And I got up, walked it off, and I was like, all right, bitch, like, let's keep going. You're bleeding everywhere, but let's keep going.
That's funny, but I like that. That's a good way to look at it. I've never heard anybody say that, where it's like, I've never been on a run, or I never did something or a workout that I was going to regret after.
Right.
That's a really good way to look at things. Like, if you could tell an alcoholic that you're probably going to regret this once you're done drinking this in the morning, you're going to regret it, or whatever the case is. Would you wake up with like hangovers or anything like that after you would drink?
Yeah. I would wake up and just I wouldn't be like still drunk, but I would just feel sick, you know? Yeah. I would just feel really nauseous. And by the middle of the day, I would like feel better and be like, all right, let's go drink some more.
I don't know how y'all do that. It's crazy. So I remember I feel like we all go through that phase of drinking. Like, now it's just, is it a phase, or is it going to become a lifestyle for you at that point? Any of us. Like, I had went through a phase where I think it was like almost a year of like just drinking all the time. And it's like you're saying, where you just don't feel good about yourself, so you're looking for something else to not feel empty, or to feel the shame that you have upon yourself for not being where you thought you were going to be, or whatever the case is. So I feel like we all go through that phase of drinking. It's just a matter of, can we pull ourselves out of it at the right time before before you completely lose yourself, your life, and everything like that. So I wanted to ask you,
quick question. I wanted to piggyback off of that, because it doesn't necessarily have to be drinking. I mean, for me, it was smoking weed all the time, because I think I started when I was like 13, and then I don't remember how old I was when in 2017, but I stopped. But a motivating factor for me was just smoking all the time, not really caring about nothing. I mean, some people are like, yeah, smoking doesn't affect me, but for me, like, I just felt numb all the time, driving, taking a hit, getting a little buzz, and I'm just going through the motions in life. And then I think at one point in time, I was telling myself, I actually want to feel something, because I don't feel anything at all. And it's crazy, because I don't get sad. I don't get happy. I'm not angry or anxious. I felt like I was living in an empty void for so long. And it was just, for me, it was like, I think my turning point was me realizing that nothing makes me happy, sad, or anything. I was just kind of like, had a cloud over my head. It was gray around me. And I felt like I was existing. Yeah, but, after I gave up smoking, it was a good thing about it was, man, I actually do get upset. I feel happy. I do get sad, anxious, upset, tired, worried, and I took pleasure in actually being able to feel emotions again.
Mm-hmm. I could feel that for sure. Feeling the pleasure to feel the emotions again.
Whether it's good or bad, like, now it's like, okay, I can get upset. Now I have a reason to speak up and say, oh, I don't like this and this and that. Instead of saying, whatever. Mm-hmm. Okay, cool.
For me, like, when I quit drinking, I remember feeling that clarity. Because I felt like I was always in a fog constantly. Even if it was like at the beginning of the day, like going through the day, like where I'm at work and obviously not drinking, like, something still just felt, I don't know, cloudy in my brain, I guess. And like that clarity after you stop, you're like, whoa, this is fucking crazy. There's all these different things and emotions and stuff. So I completely understand that.
I wanted to ask you, what are you most proud of are you more proud of you being able to find your career in like something that fits you? Or are you more proud of your fitness journey and finding yourself again?
I think they're both one and the same, because at that point in my career, I had already started at Eden. Mm-hmm. So like I was saying earlier, like, I was on this like upward gain from my career, and that impacted me and made me want to be a better person just in general. So I think it's all like one and the same, like, and I'm really proud of all of it. I'm really proud of the progress I've made at work. I'm really proud of the progress I've made in my own personal life and at the gym and shit like that. So yeah, I think it's all one.
Well, can I just say, I'm proud of you because, you know, we all start somewhere in high school, middle school, or wherever. And then after high school is when we're all supposed to take this leap of improvement and become an adult and everything like that. So knowing you from high school and then seeing you now, it's just like, it's like a big motivation because it's like, yo, anybody can do the same thing. Anybody can start here. And then once you start figuring it out, you just put it together. And I like it too because some people would get the opportunity and then say, oh, I got what I wanted. Now I'm just going to do all this other stuff. And they might go into the partying. Like you said, you could have just said, instead of saying, oh, I need to work on my career, they could have just said, oh, I'm going to party. And then they lose their career. Mm-hmm. So you were like, I can't squander this opportunity. That's so great because, like, it just honestly, tattooing actually, I don't know what it is, but it just fits you. It just fits you. It fits, and it just fits. It literally does fit you because if I'm correct, you took like the I don't want to missay it, but like you took the advanced level of art when we were in high school, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it wasn't just basic level art; it was like the advanced level. You were with, was it Millie and other people like that? I don't know if it was Millie that was in there too, but I know the other people that was also doing the same thing. Do you remember Fabian as well?
Yeah, he's a tattooer now.
Yeah, I just remember he was in it too. Art, yeah, Fabian's a tattoo artist too, but he does more. I don't know what he does exactly, but I think his is more black and white.
Yeah, he does a lot of amazing black and gray stuff. He's fucking sick. I don't know if you remember Eric Hernandez.
Yeah,
he's
Eric
also
Hernandez.
A tattooer.
That's who me and I don't know if you know Jose Torres. You probably do.
Yeah,
he had Jose was telling me he wanted to bring on Eric, but for open discussions. Yeah, another tattoo artist. Yeah, I know Eric's pretty good as well. I know Eric and Fabian work together in the same shop, so it's cool.
Yeah. I never really talked with like Fabian, I don't think, but I've talked to Eric since then, like since we've both become tattooers, and he's really supportive, and I'm really glad that we're all kicking it and like
That's cool,
successful tattooers, because it's hard. It's really fucking hard to become a successful tattooer. In my opinion, it's hard. So,
it's completely different taking pen to paper and then saying I'm gonna put it on the skin, because once you can't mess up. I mean, you can, but you really can't.
No, yeah, you can't. Yeah.
That's I would feel like that's a little bit traumatizing when you know you're like messing up somebody's skin or whatever the case is. So I want to ask you real quick, where do you see yourself in 5 years?
I would like to get to a point, like I was talking earlier about how I'm taking the physical art that I'm making on my own and putting that into my tattoos. And I want that to be the sole style that I'm tattooing in. So that. And then I really want to travel with tattooing. I want to be able to go to different states and different countries and be able to tattoo there while I'm there. So that's just like building up more clients, building a bigger following on Instagram, so that, if I want to fucking go to Germany one day, I can just put out there that I'm in Germany, and then, people will get tattooed by me there.
Have you tried to do that already now?
Not as much. I'm slowly getting into it. I did a guest spot last year in Pennsylvania. And then this year I'm doing 3 conventions. I have one coming up in May that I'm super excited about. It's in New York.
That's cool.
And then the shop is actually doing a convention in London this year.
That's fine.
So, and that'll be my first time going out of the country. I've never been out of the country before. And then we're also, the shop isn't going as a whole, but I think some of us are going to go to California at the end of September for another tattoo convention. So that's my plans right now. But yeah, eventually I want to get to where I can, travel and do guest spots anywhere I want.
Life sounds amazing. Life sounds like it's about to be even more amazing once you start doing all those trips and everything like that.
I'm really excited about it. Yeah. I hope I can just keep doing more.
Have you thought about or considered maybe thinking about getting on Ink Master?
It's never been something that I've personally wanted to do. I feel like I'm a one-trick pony in that, like, I like to do this. I'm really good at this. But, like, you try to hand me some American traditional and I will fuck that shit up. I'm not good at that. You know what I mean? So I don't see myself as an ink master, like, where I can be super versatile in all these different styles. But, like, I would try it. I would try it, but it's not something that I've ever sought out for sure. I just want to build up my style and my clientele and be able to travel around.
Wait, so you're telling me if they came to you and said, "Hey, Monica, we think you'd be great to get on Ink Master. Do you want to take this opportunity?"
I would totally take it.
Oh, so you would take it.
Yeah, I would. But it's not something that I would like seek out necessarily. So in that sense, it's probably never going to happen. But in a theoretical, in a theory, yes, I would do it. But,
so when do you know? I don't know if you know a little bit about it, but whenever they did Ink Master, do they have to go live there for like 2 months or 3 months or something like that, or how does that work? Or you don't know?
I think so. I'm not super familiar. Deanna's kind of talked about it, but they're not allowed to like talk about all the details of it or anything.
They can't talk about that?
They can't like talk about things, especially if the show hasn't come out yet or anything like that. I think so. I think that they are out there for a certain amount of time and then come home after it's all done. But I don't know shit about fuck, so don't quote me on that.
That's funny. Hey, so do you? I know this is a little bit personal, but do you have your own house or are you like renting?
I'm renting.
Okay,
yes,
so do you want your own house?
I do. I do eventually want to buy my own house. That's the goal.
Are you planning to like stay in Dallas or you want to move somewhere else?
At the moment, I would like to stay in Dallas. I'm in Carrollton right now, which I feel like is a really nice area. So I would like to stay in that general, like Addison area.
People that got money. I got you.
It's a nice area.
If you got the cheddar, that's where you going to be.
Yeah, I guess.
So I want to ask you another one more question before I let Roger go real quick. Whenever you're posting on your story and stuff like that, and you're like, "Hey, who wants to get this tattooed or whatever?" Is that what you're referring to as in your new style? Like,
yes.
As in your art that you want to actually tattoo and stuff like that? Mm-hmm. Okay, so that's what I wanted to great. Because I see you doing that all the time. Now that actually makes sense. You're like you said, you're trying to transition your style.
Yeah. Yeah, I just try to push it as much as I possibly can. Yeah.
That makes sense.
Before we go ahead and wrap this up, I just want to know, do you have any final thoughts you'd like to share with anyone who's going to watch this? I mean, you're probably we just barely started posting videos earlier this month, and this is gonna be one of the first ones, so I don't know how many people are gonna see it. We're over here you've seen the setup, you've seen what we posted online. Like, we're for real about this. We're not like sit in front of a camera and just talk about nothing.
Yeah, we're really trying to help people. That's why I really think that your story is really important, because I know where you started, and then seeing you now is like you literally blossom into like a beautiful flower. Like, literally.
Thank you.
And if so, the purple one is where you share your final thoughts.
I guess if any future tattooers see this, don't let anyone take advantage of you. Work your ass off and draw all the fucking time. Yeah, I guess that's it.
Oh, that's a good way to end it. It suits you for sure. No, we're going to go ahead and catch you guys on the next episode. Cut.
Appreciate you guys for tuning in to Direct Discussions. Thank you, Monica, for being here. I really, really appreciate it so much, because you actually took time out of your day and everything like that. Thank you for supporting me the same way I'm going to support you. I really do appreciate it.
Make sure you guys click the noti bell, like, subscribe, comment. We got the link tree in the bios. All of that. It's literally, move your thumb to the left, to the right. Give us your support. We need it. We desire it. We crave it. And if you don't want to, then that's fine. I mean, at the end of the day, this isn't for everybody. Yeah. And it also takes a lot more to just get this going. So if you see the vision, you see the vision. And if you don't, put some glasses on, because we're coming in hot.
We're coming in hot. Thank you guys. Appreciate it. See you at the next one.
And keep it saucy.
Oh, my goodness.